I think we went deep. Let's go to the next category of the show. Cultural analysis. Arguably the most popular category on the show, Ashley. The fans love it. I love it. It's where we look at the beast called Twitter. Do you have a Twitter?
I don't. So I signed up. Good. I signed up for Twitter when it first came out.
Wow.
I've only like this YouTuber was promoting it on her page. Yeah. I was a huge fan of hers. I'm like, oh, if she's doing it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
I think I was 15, 16. Anyways, wow. I signed up, did like one tweet. I'm like, what's the point? I have no followers. Like, no one's on this. Yeah. And to watch it like explode and to be used for virtually everything.
Oh, Lord, too much.
Is very, it's
crazy. And you were there from almost day one.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you wish you had stayed active so now maybe you'd be a poppin'? I mean,
yeah, because
because some have been there since day one and they still only have 2 followers.
Yeah, and a lot of
last talk show.
But then they get like they grab most of the attention because they've been like peddling at it for so long.
Yeah,
so a lot of like comedians who have used it, like I know some people who got like some internet fame for some tweets they did.
Yeah, me too.
And even some writing gigs over a tweet.
Over a tweet, you couldn't even. And for a long time period of time, it was a shortened character limit. I think it still is. But at a certain point, it was even a smaller character limit. It could literally be a few sentences, and to get writing gigs off that, clap it up for them.
Yeah,
that's good.
But I also believe it's like anything. If it's anything that gets like too much like idolization and use can become toxic.
Yes, and Twitter. I kind of wanted to get to that before we get.
So when it went into like politics, when it melts into politics, that's when it's like, oh God,
real
this
messy,
is very dystopian.
It gets real messy.
Yes.
Because Twitter is now, some people, of course, some of these tweets will read, and it's just like, Twitter is awesome for sports, but it sucks for politics. It's like, no one is happy about the political discourse on Twitter.
No.
I don't think.
Some people love to get into it.
But
some people love the drama of it, and they'll just be reckless because they don't see the consequences that come out of it, which is enraging a bunch of different groups.
There's no consequences directly for them, but everybody else, it's like you in trouble.
Trolls, I believe.
Trolls. Let's go to the first tweet. We kind of touched on our Amazon shopping, but I wanted to bring this great tweet. At work, Amazon shopping in the bathroom. That's from Joex Ellie Live Studio. How do you feel about this one? All right, I love it. Have you ever been at work Amazon shopping in the bathroom?
Yes, Amazon shopping, Craigslist shopping.
I mean, it's when you're at, this is not too personal of a person. I don't know who doesn't use their phone in the bathroom. Nowadays, it's like,
everyone takes their phone, and
what else is you gonna do?
I always feel suspicious too, like when I run back to get it, like, oh, I forgot my phone, like especially if I'm like around like a guy or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna be texting anybody else. I'm just gonna be doing some Amazon shopping.
Right. That's good. Yeah. I try. I don't know if I'm in a certain mood when I shop on Amazon. It's like I have to be in like a business mindset. I think when I'm at work, I try not to be a distraction and get my mind off of work. So I try to stay on work. So when I'm, in the restroom, I'm normally reading the news or things like that. But you're saying at any time you can Amazon shop. Anytime.
Wow. Anytime.
But before we go to the next tweet, I want to ask, what are some of the standard items in your Amazon cart or even on your wish list? What are some things you're looking forward to?
Oh, it's a lot of like home appliances.
I had a feeling, but I think most of us, now the wish list can get crazy.
Things that like will help me feel more of like an adult and have my life in order, because I don't have the money to go to Crate and Barrel or Macy's or Nordstrom's to buy like all these high-end like kitchenware things. So Amazon's where it's at. But I have like maybe like $300 worth of stuff.
In your Amazon cart?
Yeah, just like pending, just waiting.
Are you gonna?
Camping stuff too, camping gear. Yeah, that's a good spot to go.
Yes, Amazon, they have everything. That's like, you can't not. We had a guest yesterday and he was like, yeah, I don't use Amazon. I've never used it. And I was like, in your whole life, Amazon's been big for at least 10 years, 15. How have you not used it once?
I kind of respect him for that.
Well, it is kind of a cool thing.
Well, is he doing it like to
prove a point or like
protest? To protest
Jeff?
it?
No, he was just like, I just don't have a need for it.
Good for him.
Clap it up for that guest who said he has never used Amazon. Me and Ashley, on the other hand, we need Amazon. I can order it the same day and get it too quick.
Yes.
I just press purchase and I've already got it.
It's incredible.
My dad asked me if I wanted Chinese food, and I had to say no. Heartbreak emoji, heartbreak emoji, heartbreak emoji, heartbreak emoji. Well, don't laugh at the tweeter. Obviously something is wrong.
She had to say no.
That is so sad. I wonder, have you ever been in a position where you were so sad you said no to Chinese food?
Where I was so sad I had to say no to Chinese food?
Yeah.
Probably, like,
That must
so
have been
many years to
real.
look back on. Maybe just sad because my body can't handle wishy-washy Chinese food anymore.
Yeah, it's got to be that real elite quality
There's
Chinese.
a spot right down the street from me, and they don't wear gloves. They don't use gloves.
Real authentic.
And I'll watch them do it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, should I say something? I'm like, no, I'm not gonna be a Karen about it. Like that's the thing now too. Like I'm always afraid I'm gonna
Never
come
wanna be
across
a
as like a bitchy like white girl. Like, excuse me,
it's so
can you
tough, Ashley.
can you put some gloves on?
But see, that's a whole other great discussion, which we can dive into briefly, because your health matters.
Yes,
And your safety
yeah.
matters, Ashley. So, of course, I am never going to say, I support Karens, but if it's your food and you paid for it, I believe you have the right to say, hey, I know my mom does it, but there's not really a black Karen.
Like if I was if I was a big burly dude and I said, hey, you need to put gloves on,
Yeah.
I would have I would have the
Right.
protection of like
Of being
a
a big-
body.
Oh, yeah, big dude,
My
yeah.
body is so little.
No, do not believe her. No, I think in that case, you definitely have the right to say, yo,
You're right. I'm gonna go
Yo.
back to that Chinese restaurant
back.
tonight. I'm gonna be like, put gloves
put
on
them
this
gloves
time.
on. Listen to the last talk to an actor. Put them gloves on. So you said you have possibly been in a situation where you said no to Chinese food, which is very sad. Gosh, but on the regular, I know you don't say no often to Chinese food.
No.
You can't say no
I
to
don't
Chinese
really
food.
say no to much. Everything's an experience.
I mean, and Chinese food
Even
is
if
so
it's bad.
good.
It
Now, where are
is.
you going? Okay, now I want to talk about chain Chinese food. Where are you going?
I always go to Panda Express because it's super convenient, but it always
Panda's good.
it
Panda's
always
good.
makes me sick every time.
Another guest said that yesterday.
And as soon as like I sit down with it, and maybe after like a few bites, I'm like, yeah, I'm in the clear.
Yeah.
And then right after it's all done, like the last grain of rice has hit my mouth. I'm like, yeah, I feel sick.
Oh, not Panda. Yeah, that's a tough one. I know Panda will. I think it's because I get so much spicy mess.
Yeah.
For some reason, that just hits your stomach like nothing else.
It does.
And I don't want to get too graphic, but Taco Bell, similar experience.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go to the next tweet. Very excited for it. I'm too smart for the dumb people, but too dumb for the smart people.
Absolutely.
No, Ashley.
Ride that medium wave.
Please don't tell me. Do you fit into that? Do you agree with shower thoughts, the weird world?
Well, it's funny because I always think if you say you are something, it means you're not. Or if like you have to tell someone like, oh, I'm really smart.
Yeah, then you're not.
It likely
that
means
smart.
you're not.
Yeah, you're kind of not confident.
And then if you're saying like, oh, I'm dumb, it's a little too self-deprecating.
Yeah.
And then it's
that's
like, oh,
true.
this young lady doesn't have self-esteem.
Yeah,
Like,
yep. So you can't win.
her opinion doesn't matter.
Right.
at
So you
all.
can't speak about yourself. So what is it
But-
best to do? I mean, just
I
not
always like to kind of stay like in the middle ground of like I
Yeah.
know what I know, I don't know what I don't know, and there's still plenty more to know. And I'm looking forward to being an old wise woman one day.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. That's a beautiful-
Read books,
That's
guys.
what they say. I need to get more reading.
Yeah.
done. I really do.
I notice like when I'm just scrolling and I'll get like sucked into Reddit, like sites like that, and I'm like, I can just feel myself getting dumber. Like I can just
Yes, social
feel my
media,
brain
I
gasping
think it's
for
dumbing
oxygen.
down society.
Yeah.
It's just a shame.
There's so much to access in here, and when
yes.
you're only using a portion of it, it's like if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yes.
And it works very much with your brain.
Yes. Clap it up for Ashley. She's so intelligent. She's part of the smart people. She wouldn't be
so
saying that
smart.
if she wasn't. She wouldn't be saying that if she wasn't. I believe this may be our last tweet.
Okay.
Sketchy Craigslist ads give me such a rush. I like to type the number into my phone and hover my thumb over the call button. It
Oh my
drives me wild. Ashley, what are your thoughts? Because you said you do shop on Craigslist. Craigslist is crazy.
Craigslist is crazy.
It's crazy.
I've met some great people off Craigslist, like through sales and
too.
stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes you meet like pretty lonely people selling things, and then they just like keep texting
They want to be
you.
a friend. Yeah. I don't like that, actually. I'm like, once we're done, please don't text me again.
I know, and then I always feel obligated. I'm like, oh man, this person really
Yeah, because they
needs
sold me that couch that I needed in a crunch
Yeah.
at a discounted price.
But I've never had like a bad experience. My mom wanted to get a dog off Craigslist. And she went to go meet up with the man who was selling it.
Yeah.
And she was waiting in her car, and she brought someone along with her, like just in case.
Yeah.
And it was so sketchy. So another car like pulled up next to her, and they were kind of just like checking her out, and saw that I think she was with somebody else. And so she had this whole idea that they were gonna like mug her and take her money, and that there was like no dog involved or anything.
No.
Yeah. So when it like hit that close to home, I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably be a little bit like more careful.
Yes, boo,
And now,
whenever
whenever I get something now, I always have someone with me. I never.
Thank you, and that's so smart, because
Yeah.
I know when I had to go on Craigslist, me and my brother had to go pick up all the stuff, because it can be crazy. Be careful on Craigslist.
Be
That's
careful.
the motto and the message of this episode. Be careful on Craigslist.
Yes.
Let's do it. Is there anything else? Live studio audience, anything else? Okay, clap it up.